Yeah, man, say all praises and honor to Yahweh, Barashim Yahushai, Barashim Rakakodash, and all honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all our brothers and out there pushing through in our sincerity and in our honesty. This is a brother from James, Jamaica camp, Yashamai.
Ashar, Shapar.
You know, and this evening, I've done a video on this whole food shortage thing. You know, because, you know, we're in a time now, you know, when this prophecy I could basically come to pass, you know, the scripture mentioned, you know, with famine, you know, even I have an article come out, I speak about famine of a biblical proportion,
Right.
you know, and out in Jamaica now we see we have shortage of chicken, you know, and them say, oh, hey, the COVID first wave, because, you know, a lot of things basically waste. Even out in Jamaica, even farmers basically couldn't get certain crop to sell, and now we see certain things that take place now. They mentioned about even also now, you know, basically not really have it like that, you know, and merely the female, you know, and according to the scripture, you know, some great tribulation are going to basically reach our people, you know, especially the woman and the children, and they are going to basically feel it the most. You know, because, you know, man can deal with certain pressure, but, you know, woman can deal with certain things. As if I say, I refer to them as the weaker sex. You know, anyway, I mean, I don't know, I met the brother, you know, get into this article and then afterward, you know, we'll just continue on some scriptures.
Right. So this is from CNW New York. It's a COVID-19 caused food shortage among Jamaican family household, reported UNICEF. Right, say, as the coronavirus continues to negatively affect the education of Jamaican children, with schools being closed and limited access to technology, there is also concern regarding how the virus has impacted the lives of children at home.
God. Say, because, you know, it's the children at home now, you know, normally you just parents are sending out them children to school, you know, and give them a little, give them lunch money, you know, and break money and so forth. But now when they're home, now they're going to basically eat more. Because they're really out there, you know, not occupy them time now and they stay home, so they might eat more things here. They might eat more food, so they might spend more. Go on.
Say, an alarming report from the United Nations Children Fund showed that 45% of Jamaican households have experienced food shortage due to COVID-19 restrictions. This was felt more accurately in female head house, female heads household.
Because, you know, a lot of these household, you know, the mother, the one in play the father role and the mother role.
Right.
And it's really hard for them now, you know, because, you know, the income not really, you know, did they like that, you know, like one time. So things are get more tighter and tighter out in Jamaica. You have even the food price keep going up. You have JPS now, you know, light bill every month they get higher and higher. So things are get rougher and rougher out in Jamaica as we go closer and closer to the end. Scripture, brother. Isaiah 42, 32 and 9. Isaiah 32 and 9.
And so this is
This is Isaiah 32 verse 9.
What?
So rise up, ye women that are at ease.
So the scripture says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. You know, because right now, majority of the women in our nation right now are at ease. You know, because this whole feminist movements thing, you know, get that mindset, you know, basically be at ease, you know, everything, you know, them have, you know, to that level in the society, you know, because they have, you know, freedom to basically do this. You have certain men are saying certain things can give them, you know, and you have the welfare in America, the Section 8 and all these things, you know, what them benefit of over the years. But now we're in a time now when, you know, all these things are get taken away, you know, from the woman of our nation. So she say, rise up, the women that are at ease. Look up the word ease, me. Go back to her. Come, can I bring it out, brother? Bring up the word ease. Can I bring out from the mirror map, sir? Bring out the word ease.
oh,
Yeah, let's bring it out from the mirror map, sir. You can fast.
Alright, this is
Where are we?
Go on.
This is from the Merriam-Webster.
One.
It says, the state of being comfortable.
State of being comfortable. So majority of the women they're comfortable in our comfort zone. Go on.
Such as freedom from pain or discomfort.
Freedom from pain now, what? Discomfort, and this thing, what this whole coronavirus thing will bring, what? Discomfort, to the woman in our nation. Also the men, we're really speaking about one of the woman. Starting from the so-called black woman right down to the so-called Mexican woman. Go on.
Right. Freedom from care.
Freedom from care.
Freedom from labor or difficulty.
Go on.
Right. Freedom from embarrassment and constraint. Right. Going at the Strongs. It's a from Middle English, essay, from Anglo-French, easy, right? Convenience, comfortable.
Comfortable, in a comfort zone. So she say, rise up you women that are at ease. All you women are basically at ease now in the society, in a comfort zone. Go on.
Right. It's a rise up, ye women that are at ease.
Go on.
Hear my voice, ye careless daughters.
Hear my voice, ye careless daughter. Go on.
Give ears unto my
So
speech.
you're supposed to take heed to the word of the Heavenly Father now. Because we're in a time now we're going to basically face a lot of things here. We're approaching famine. Even I'm out in Jamaica. As I basically mentioned about even the chicken shortage. These women them like eat chicken.
Right.
So we're in some serious time. One.
So many days and years shall ye be in trouble,
One.
ye careless women. Right, for the vintage shall fail,
For the vintage shall fail. One.
and the gathering shall not come.
And the gathering shall not come. So all the income, all the money we are sending from foreign and all these things come out here into Jamaica, all these things are come to an end right now. Welfare, as I mentioned earlier, and Section 8 and all these things are come to an end. People say it shall fail. And when I tell you all these things are going to fail you. Go on.
So tremble, ye women that are at ease.
So the right mindset of the woman is supposed to be right now, we are trembling. People say teach our daughter wailing. Because death is come up into the windows. Go on.
Right, be troubled, ye careless ones.
Be troubled, the careless one. Go on.
Strip you and make you bear.
And the Heavenly Father will strip you from all these, benefits you. From this comfort zone mindset what in there right now. The Heavenly Father basically kick you out of you. Go on.
And great sackcloth upon your loins.
And because going back to ancient time, and basically, people show a state of basically mourning or sorrowful them all is good sackcloth upon them line. Them chew ashes upon them head. Scripture basically said, right?
Verse 12 says, they shall lament for the heats,
Gone.
for the pleasant field.
But you shall lament for the teeth, yo. Now cry.
For the pleasant fields,
Gone.
for the fruitful vine.
Gone. Exactly. It's like an article I said. Lot of these female household, female are basically in control of the household. Because it go back to the curse too. Because in Deuteronomy 28, 44 I believe. So the man that tender delicate among you, his eye shall be evil towards his wife, and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave. So the majority of the household, the father of the house. And the woman are one of basically take care of all the bills and all these things. So now in a time when the Father, pour him right upon the society.
Deuteronomy 28 and 54.
Right, read it now.
Alright, it said, this is Deuteronomy 28 verse 54.
What?
So that the man that is tender among you.
So this is basically curse that the Heavenly Father put upon us. Starting from the so-called Negro, right down to the so-called Mexican. What?
And very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother.
His eye shall be evil towards his brother.
And towards the wife of his bosom.
And towards the wife of his bosom. Go on.
And towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave.
And towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave. So that's the reason why you have a broken home.
Right.
Because it all go back to the curse of the Heavenly Father. Now when I tell now Heavenly Father, I get ready now basically pour him right, upon the society like never before. Because we see famine now preparing right now, even I'm out here in Jamaica. Over the years, through the spirit and power, how Ashimir and Shai, we've been speaking about this famine. Because basically this piece of rock here, what them call Jamaica, and across the world. I will live in a time now when see these prophecy I come to pass, right before we eyes. You go on, brother?
Alright, so back to the article. Give me a second here. Back into the article, it says, this was felt more accurately in female-headed households where 56% experienced food shortage from June to August.
June to August, so we don't know, September.
Right.
So as you go closer and closer to the end, it get worse and worse.
We can add to just like we always make this example like the woman when them quarantine out bull day. So like that woman will come out and say, yo, she can't get hungry. She rather get come and test her now. Yeah. So she can get some fish she and her youth them.
Don't like shark, cheap early.
Exactly. But them are going to ask for it at that time. You know what I mean? Them because women can't take a lot of pressure. See, as I said before, them are the weak of it.
Yeah, we should know say you have certain women that basically get delivered, from all this chaos, all the famine and all these things.
Right.
They basically are about to come on the earth. We get deliver and basically get by the chariots. But you have a me and shy matter of fuck you. You see, because as according to the scripture, majority will get put to death, but only elect gonna get delivered, from all these things. That was predestined, so basically that will take place. Go on, brother.
Mr. The report stated that most also cope with food shortage by eating smaller meals.
Smaller meals, so if you eat less now.
Or eat fewer meals per day.
Can't say if you cook 3 pounds of rice or 2 just an example, for example, I cook 3 pounds of rice, at daytime in a pot, and a whole of chicken. I don't know chicken short, no, that is an example. You have to cook back, you have to cook a pound or a pound and a half, so you have to share less now. So say you eat, but you still not get that belly full, and you're not satisfied. So rationing, so rationing already start already. Go on.
Especially on them Sunday where them like
cook rice and peas, Jamaican, rice and peas and chicken Sunday. So what?
In an emergency, children are always the most vulnerable.
Almost what?
Are always the most vulnerable.
Always the most vulnerable. What?
But often we don't have enough evidence to show the full extent to which they are affected. Said Marco Green, whatever I want.
Give me an answer, brother. Jeremiah 9 and 20.
It's Jeremiah 9 verse 20. It reads, yet hear the words of the Lord, O ye women.
Go on, supposed to hear the word of the Lord. Yeah, ye women, what?
And let your ears receive the word of his mouth.
And let your ear receive the word of Yahweh Shmir Shai. Now is the time to take heed. Don't wait until it get too late. You have a saying I'm out in Jamaica, if me know. Don't make that catch you. So if I say, I'm in Ecclesiasticus, I think 5 and 7, say, make the authority turn to the Lord, put that off from day to day, because in your security, you get basically destroyed. Go on.
So it's let your ear receive the word of his mouth, and teach your daughters wailing.
And teach your daughter wailing. So you're supposed to teach your daughter wailing. Right.
And everyone her neighbor lamentation.
And everyone our neighbor lamentation. Because we are entering some serious times here. This is just the beginning of what to come. Because not really started. Especially I'm out here in Jamaica. Go on.
For that is come up into our windows and is enter into our palace. He cut off the children from without.
To cut off what? The children from without. What?
And the young men from the streets.
And the young men from the streets. All these young youths on the street idling. You see, we're approaching the time now and a lot of them going to get destroyed. We're going to get basically put to death.
We're going to get put to death, I get cheap and then put to death.
Exactly. Because Esau Edom, one of the main things what Esau Edom going to use, to make a lot of people take this RFID microchip. It's famine, it's well food shortage thing. Because get hungry to that level, they get desperate. A lot of people gonna basically just march after the concentration camp or We saw basically Esau using the time to come to chip people, to take food, basically to get food. So we see how this whole thing this whole stage has set now for this whole RFID microchip. Our leader out here, Jonas, speaking about this whole new payment system, push now to go digital, because we're approaching our economic collapse also. So all these things is taking place now out in Jamaica lead to one thing, the destruction of this wicked society, and basically bring forth the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast according to Revelation 13 and 16. Right. So no man are going to ever buy or sell, save ye that have the mark. That way Esau going to basically push, very soon. Because we're in a time when this prophecy that will come to pass, because we're seeing all the moves they make right now. What?
Right, you say. It was critical for UNFIC, UNICEF
yes,
to conduct this study so that we could examine various ways children are impacted and how the country can respond to better protect them. The food shortage were as a result of the massive loss of jobs.
Massive loss of jobs. A lot of people allow them to get a job. Some people are going to work on 2 days.
But the thing with Jamaica is that Jamaica is a country highly live hand to mouth. So majority of our people they have a weeks, but even a day, some people to that effect. A week, much as a week, but a supply of the most. So you can imagine when this thing
get worse.
Say, massive loss of jobs across virtually every section in Jamaica due to the peak of COVID-19 pandemic. Right. So from March to mid-June, the island had closed its border to tourists and implemented a series of lockdown and curfew that result in loss of thousands of jobs across the tourism and entertainment industry.
Because a lot of people even out in Jamaica, them work at restaurants. They have certain restaurants work during the day and night. So because them close so early now, if people may work at night, and them not no job.
Even hotels hotels close down, the tourists now come about. And you even have some man who usually depend the side way. Out here in Portland where we're there, you have some man who usually carry on tourists and take a thing off of them. Right? None of that, all jobs cease.
And gas station have a lock. I think about by 7 o'clock, I believe.
Right.
So all the people that work at gas station, them go night worker. So things are getting real tight. And I think it's worse, but it's just the beginning of what to come, because things gonna get worse than this. You have a scripture, brother?
This is Lamentation 2 verse 19.
What?
Say, arise, cry out in the night, in the beginning of the watches.
That's what we do right now. We are crying out in the night.
Right.
What?
Right. Pour out thine heart like water before the face of the Lord.
Right.
Lift up thine hands towards him for the life of thy young children that are fainting for hunger in the top of every street.
Run. Young children are going to faint for hunger in the top of every street. A lot of people are going to die by famine. And Skipper tell you. Especially these young boys and young girls, these young youths are going to die basically hunger. Because the mother don't really have it to basically give them. So as a brother going to the article, I say, the whole have a cut back on the whole food thing. Because even the bank account money, because you have a little thing in a bank, you have to start to, rack money now, pay the bills, buy food, so quick time not run out. So things can, get a whip,
No more now coming, but you have to give out there.
Right. Verse 20 says, behold the Lord, behold, O Lord, and consider to whom thou hast done this. Right. Shall the woman eat their fruit, and children of spun lamb, right? Shall their priests and the prophets be slain in the sanctuary of the Lord? I say the young and the old lie on the top of the lie on the ground in the streets. Right? My virgins and my young men are fallen, right, by the sword and are slain in the day of thine hunger. And a lot of, tension about rising at that time because when you check it out, like in a household, a man is more like a survivor, like a hunter than even a female.
He's a breadwinner, as they say.
That's a good reason why he married that house. Because when a man can run up in one of them coconut tree or, you know what I mean, just do things hardcore to survive and bring back things out there. A female now, they don't know them place and like that.
Exactly, and I know when things start to get really serious and all that take place, you got and I try to basically rob even the food trucks, because every 3 days, it's supermarket have to basically restock. Someone soon start basically, to rob the truck then. They're gonna lead to that. And then food are gonna stop come.
Can.
So go on, hey, we're doing some serious times here. And as the scripture says, many of them, the second is 16 and verse, I think 22. Second is 16 and verse 22, I believe. What?
See, second Ezra 16 verse 22.
What?
So many of them that dwell upon the earth.
So what the scripture says, many of them that dwell upon the earth, what?
Shall perish of famine.
Shall perish of famine. So a lot of people gonna die, of famine at the time to come. You already see the preparation taking place right across the world. And Shiva says that one of the terriblest way to die is die basically by hunger. What?
And the other that escape the hunger.
And the other that escape the hunger and will escape the basically famine, what?
Shall fall by the sword.
Shall fall by the sword.
Shall the sword destroy.
Shall the sword destroy. So all who escape the famine, they might get destroyed by the sword. The modern day sword is like basically gun. If the machete, the knife, you name it. So you escape the famine, you're gonna get destroyed by a different thing. Give me sit there, brother. Lamentation, I think Lamentation 4 and verse 9.
So you have your food store up here. And
government can take that also.
Or man find it and cut you up.
What?
This is Lamentation 4 and verse 9.
What?
So they that are slain with the sword.
People said they that are slain with the sword. What?
Are better than they that be slain with hunger.
Are better than they that is slain with hunger. So we take it put to death by the sword and basically get put to death by hunger. Because you die faster. What?
For these pine away.
For these pine away, go on.
Stricken true for want of the fruit of the field.
Stricken true for want of the fruit. If the fruit of basically failure. So Scripture say you even eat your own self to how serious that will be. You will touch on the right hand, eat off the whole of the flesh off your right hand to a level of hunger. Hungry basically you will feel you will eat the flesh off your own right hand. Then you turn to the left hand and still not going to satisfy. So famine is one of the terriblest way to die. And the scripture says very early and so many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. I will live in the time this prophecy is going to come to pass. All these prophecies when the scripture speak that come to pass right before your eyes. Go on.
Alright, so the UNICEF reported that approximately 80% of family households on the island suffered a reduction in income.
And suffer reduction in income. One.
Even more alarming is that 1 in every 2 households reported only having enough income or savings to sustain them for 2 weeks or less. Right?
What we say earlier. And see the money we have in the bank, that I get.
Right, you maybe have like 20 grand and save.
You have to use up then. And now you don't no other income.
No option I did it. Alright, as Jamaican locally felt the economic pressure of COVID-19, so too were those in the diaspora. Over 30% diaspora, right? Over 30% of Jamaicans had turned to their loved ones overseas to send remittance.
And that's one of the main things, a lot of these so-called Jamaicans, which are mainly from the tribe of Benjamin, and depend upon, remittance. Family overseas sending money. Right. And your family overseas are basically feel it too. So how basically take place. Go ahead.
It's remittance to survive At the peak of COVID-19, money transfer service across the island had hundreds of Jamaicans lining up on a daily basis to collect remittance from family and friends abroad.
Gone.
Right? In April, Jamaicans had lost their jobs due to COVID-19 were given a 10,000 Jamaican dollars,
10,000 Jamaican dollars,
which is 70 US, right? COVID-19 stimulus.
A lot of people still not get the money there.
Right.
Pay more money there.
From the government.
Right?
But for many households with children, this was barely enough to purchase a week worth of groceries.
Right.
Right? Yes, Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble.
So what the scripture says, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, we're approaching that day basically right now. You know, all these leaders, you know, are right across the road. Even I'm out in Jamaica, they are going to tremble to the level of chaos going to take place here. What you say, there are 4,000 odd soldiers, you know, and much police that can't help them, you know, to the level of chaos that happen in 14 parishes. You know, because, you know, when hunger start and the looting start, you know, what will take place here. And guess what? A lot of these soldiers and police, they don't really believe in basically the government. Yeah, because even this whole election even prove it. So less than 25% of soldiers basically voted in this election. Will take place what day? So we show you, so when things get really serious, a lot of them going to basically run left the force. You know? So you know what will happen in Jamaica. So super said, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble. One.
And the strong men shall bow themselves.
And the strong men shall bow themselves. One.
And the grinders cease because they are few.
And the grinders cease because they are few. There are few people basically at work. Now I already have a lot of people losing job because of the whole coronavirus.
Right.
You know, and things get worse and worse as they go closer and closer to the end of this year. One.
And those that look out the windows
and
be
those,
darkened.
and those that look out the window, you know, people are going to say, no better now come. Because things are getting worse and worse. And Jake going to bug out. Because in a Jake mind right now, our people even out in Jamaica, you know, for them here is things will go back to normal soon and them can go back to party and do what they want to do. But then say when they wake up to a realization, say, yo, a worse things that get worse, them are going to bug the hell out and them are going to do some crazy things, yo.
Look through the window as the scripture says and see no future.
Right.
Right, it says. And the door shall be shut in the street.
Supermarket gonna shut, all these business places gonna shut now. You have people in New York closing their business and moving basically move on. They're gonna live in the country area.
Right.
You know, because they already saw it come. You know? One, so they run from the whole chaos gonna take place. One.
When the sound of the grinding is low.
When the sound of the grinding is low, one.
And he shall rise up to the soul at the voice of the bird.
You must say he shall rise up at the what? The voice of the birds. So this way the place are quiet because you're not going to chuck a drive on a car or a bike. This is totally quiet. So you're going to wake up in the morning to the voice of the birds. Go on.
And all the daughters of music shall be brought low.
And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All these celebrities, all these entertainers, all them are going to get brought low. You know, very soon. Remember that?
This is 2 Ezra 6 and verse 22.
One.
And suddenly shall his sound place appear and sound.
People say, suddenly shall his sound place appear and sound. You have a scripture in Ecclesiastes. You can get me out for me, brother. I think 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 3. Yeah, man, go on, same place here. 1 Thessalonians 5 and think 3. I'm going to brother continue. Hold on. Give me this. I'm going to find them all. Fine?
This is.
Oh, this is. Yeah, man, hold on.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3.
One.
For when they shall say peace and safety.
Go on. I'm going to talk read from 1.
Verse 1. But of the times and the season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you.
Gone.
For yourself know perfectly
Gone.
that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
Because I say, ourselves know perfectly. So the day of the Lord come as a what? Thief in the night. You know, just like what thief, you know, break your basically house or your shop. You know, you never expect it, or you didn't look for it happen. That's how the Heavenly Father come. Because people now look for see the prophecies and all the signs, you know, the Heavenly Father is supposed to look for before he make him arrival. You know, going back to 2,000 years ago, Lord, the house shine, you know, the man of people ignorantly called Jesus, you know, tell us all the prophecies, you know, all the things that will take place, you know, before he make him arrival. Suppose people are earthquake in diverse places. Famine. I will see famine now prepare right across the world, even out in Jamaica. Pestilence and diseases. People now are busy doing all different type of wickedness, you know, now look for this, because in the back of their mind, and visit the society will continue forever and ever. So that's what the scripture says. Go on.
For when they shall say peace and safety,
when they shall say peace and safety, go on.
Then sudden destruction come upon them.
Then sudden destruction will come upon them. So that catch a lot of people sudden. This destruction, we are coming and catch people sudden. Go on, brother.
You know that, yeah? As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye virgins are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief.
Gone. Exactly. You know, we're in the darkness here. You know, because we understand, you know, we're basically watchman. You know, basically nation of Israel. We're the watchman, basically we are one of people. So give them warning, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Continue, brother.
So, alright, so this is back in 2 Ezra 6 verse 22. And suddenly shall the sound place appear and sound.
And suddenly shall the sound place appear and sound. Go on.
And the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
And the full storehouses shall suddenly found empty. The supermarket gonna suddenly found empty. You know, I think in March, you have this video that circulate the wharf. You know, this man who work at the wharf. I show you say, hey, the men when I wharf basically still gonna relax because no shipment now come in. No, remember? So we think now. So you say the full storehouses are going to suddenly found empty. So you're going to go to the supermarket one day, the shelf them going to empty. And they're going to bug out. Go on.
Right. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid.
They shall be suddenly afraid. Go on.
And at that time shall friends fight one against another.
And at that time, the time we are approaching right now, so say, and at that time shall friends fight against friends like enemies. So say a friend cannot be known in prosperity. So a lot of people will think that your friend now when the time to come, they're going to bug out you. And they're going to kill you for your own food.
Yeah, so enemy cannot be hidden
in adversity. So a lot of men will basically claim to you say you're them friend now when the time to come, they're going to basically fight for your food. Because you got a shortage of food. So you can tell you right here. Go on, brother, go on again.
Right, so, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies.
And at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies. Go on.
And the earth shall stand in fear.
And the earth shall stand in fear. Go on.
With those that dwell therein.
Exactly.
And the spring of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Give me 2 Ezra now. 15 and 19. 15 and start at verse 14.
Alright, this is 2 Ezra 15 verse 14.
Gone.
Woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Gone.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
And one people shall stand up to fight against another.
Gone. They're talking about a race war, you know, and basically also class war. And we already see the race war tension are basically a bill right now in America. You know, so we see the prophecies that them coming to pass now right before our eyes. Go on.
And swords in their hands.
And weapons in their hands. Go on.
For there shall be sedition among men.
There shall be what? Sedition among men. You know, a lot of these so-called Negroes, you know, out in Jamaica, you know, are basically come up against, you know, the government too. Because I already see a lot of people now, they don't really believe in this whole politics thing no more. You know, because a lot of people don't vote in this election. You know, give an estimate of the soldiers them, a lot of people don't vote. Because they're fed up and tired of all the lies them, you know, politicians or leaders been telling them over the years. So they might cope against the government, against the police force, the soldiers. Jake got a bug out, man. Go on.
Right, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire.
Continue.
A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall destroy.
The houses shall destroy because you're going to have a looting. You know, when food run out, a man basically not have food in the house, you know, a man going to take up them gun.
Right?
And a man go hunt the neighbor. You know, tell you where food is and where you hide the food. Also, you got the government going to send soldiers, you know, or police to come and take away your food. Because they're going to want it to basically ration it. So you have a lot of people prepping right now. You know, the government going to send, you know, police or soldiers to come and take your food. You know, as soon as things get really serious and out in Jamaica. Because they're going to want it to ration it, you go on.
And men shall be afraid.
And men shall be afraid. You know, Luke tell us, man's heart feeling them for the things that they see come upon the earth.
Right?
What?
A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
Man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Brother Skipper really answer what? At that time, friends are going to fight against friends like enemy. Skipper say a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. What?
But shall destroy their houses with the sword.
So destroy their houses with the sword and the weapon. What?
And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread.
Because of what? The lack of bread. Because of shortage of food. We see take place now right across the world.
And for great tribulation.
And for what? Great tribulation, yo. So we are approaching the time of Jacob's trouble, yo. So with that, I say all praises and honor. Yeah. Yahweh Hashem, Shai Hashem, Kodash, and double honors the apostles and elders of great stone. Shalom to all our brothers and out there push the truth in our sincerity and in our honesty. Shalom.